And have you ever just taken one word and contemplated its full meaning? And that word would be freedom. I am so honored to have with us today John Wilkie. He's the author of a fascinating read called Freedom Revealed, a simple, elegant system. And Don is, he's a seasoned entrepreneur with a background in sociology. He's an expert on complex relationships between government and freedom, drawing from years of firsthand experience in navigating regulatory challenges. He offers a clear and grounded perspective of one of humanity's most enduring and essential ideals, freedom. He does have a website, freedomrevealed.net. There's the picture of the website in the cover of the book, freedomrevealed.net. Don, good to see you. How are you?
Very good, Perry. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for your time. So, what made you tackle a simple word, freedom?
Yes, I asked myself the question about 20 years ago. What is freedom? And it took me about 20 years to get the answer. But the answer is very interesting. There's probably been about 10,000 books written on freedom. All of them are philosophical. I realized that freedom is a mechanical system composed of elements. You get the elements right, you'll get freedom right. It's very interesting. And if you would like me to continue, I'll show you where I started on my journey.
Yeah, please do. You got my brain on tilt. Go ahead.
Okay. We all come from nature. Nature's where we started. We're here on planet Earth. That's our home. So I asked myself, how does nature work? And one of the statements that is the foundation of the modern environmental movement is there is no waste in nature. Well, the question then became, if there's no waste in nature, what drives it out? And the answer was simple but hard to get. The answer is competition. Competition is what drives out waste. Now, most people speak of competition and they speak of waste, but they don't speak of them together. You need to always look at competition and waste as being connected, like on a seesaw. Competition on one side, waste on the other. If competition goes up, waste goes down. And if competition goes down, waste goes up. They're connected. Now, the other thing that I understood about nature is everything in nature moves to ease. And by that, I mean, if you go to a national park, you'll see that there's always signs that say, do not feed the animals. And the reason they say do not feed the animals is if you feed the animals, they're going to stop feeding themselves. Everything in nature takes the easiest path. We're not saying that nature's easy. We're saying it takes the easiest path. So competition, waste, and ease are how nature works. It's all very simple. Now, if you look at humankind, what have we done? What systems have we created that no other animal has? It sounds like a complicated question, but it's really pretty simple. One is the marketplace, and the other is government. That's all the choices we have. We're either operating in the marketplace or we're operating in government. So when you take those foundations of nature and apply them to the marketplace, you see that the marketplace operates like nature. Competition drives out waste, and everything in the marketplace is based on a move to ease. Again, we have a system called capitalism or the marketplace. I like to just call it the marketplace, but people sell their goods and services. You're never going to see anyone holding up their product and saying, my product is really going to make your life difficult. No, my product's always going to make your life simple. The entire marketplace is based on a move to ease. We mirror nature. Both are competitive systems. The other system we have, government. Well, it's the necessity of government is to only have one government. It doesn't make any sense to have 2, 3, 4 governments. And when you realize that when there's only one government, you realize there can be no competition. I think I'm the first one to figure this simple thing out. But because there's no competition, there's got to be waste. Government has to waste. It's a non-competitive system. And these are such fundamental differences. They make all the difference. They make our understanding clear once we get the fundamentals. In other words, the marketplace is a dog and the government's a cat. They're not the same thing. They have different elements.
Okay. Boy, this is loaded.
Like I say, it was a 20-year journey, but it really is simple.
I understand the overall concept of what you're saying here. It's pretty simple. So what isn't freedom?
What isn't freedom? Well, being in jail isn't freedom. A totalitarian government is not freedom. And this is what our founders were fighting when they founded the United States of America. It's historically, we never think of this, but we were the first country in human history to actively, purposefully limit the size of government. Up until that point in time, we had kings, we had khans, we had all the different names, czars, but never was government purposely meant to be limited and the marketplace to be supported. We were the first ones, and we became fabulously wealthy, very prosperous. You can only create prosperity by eliminating waste. Government that can only create waste cannot create prosperity.
Yeah, and
It's a big fundamental difference.
we're seeing the exposure of that today with all of this going on. So is there a difference between liberty and freedom?
I use them pretty much interchangeably. One thing I do want everybody to start understanding is freedom should be singular. In other words, freedom is a system, and it's one. So it's a singular word. I hear people all the time say freedoms, which always to me means a list. I have 65 freedoms, and if I lose 3 or 4, well, I still have 61 freedoms. No, I think what we need to do is look at freedom as a system, a singular system with elements, and then it becomes a lot clearer. If we look at freedom as a list, we can lose it all.
When people sense a shrinking of freedom and liberty, it results in a lot of different levels of emotion. And yet people are willing to go die for it. It seems to be more spiritual than mechanical.
You're talking the word freedom, the concept freedom?
Concept, freedom, liberty. Why is it so emotional with people? Why is it so deeply rooted within their soul to be free?
I think what it is looking out for your own best interest. People are from nature. People are animals. Animals, they want to be free. They don't want to be caged. They do their own thing. You know, they're always on guard, always looking for enemies. And I think it's just an ingrained human animal trait, if you will. Here's a clear explanation. Thank you for letting me have a re-go at that. How many times do you get a chance at life? You only get one. Where do you want to be? You don't want to be under the thumb of government, and you don't want to be alone in nature. You want to be protected somewhere between those two extremes. You want as happy a life as possible because you only get one. And freedom is that life.
Do you think, Don, that we are waking up to the fact that our government has gotten too big and has created too many dependents, which has robbed them of true freedom?
Again, the foundations of nature are competition, waste, and ease. Everything moves to ease. If the government is going to feed you, if they're going to house you, if they're going to take care of you, guess what people do? They let them. The whole point of a system of freedom is to have 100% adults. And the definition of an adult in a system of freedom is you can take care of yourself. You can take care of your needs, your wants, by your efforts and labors exchanging in the marketplace. That's how you take care of yourself.
So you've approached freedom, obviously, from a different point of view, a very interesting one, to say the least. What do you want people to get from your book? What do you want them to have for a takeaway?
I want them to know that freedom is mechanical. It's a system. And the elements are simple. And once you learn the elements, a lot of things become clear. For example, let's go for the big one right here. Socialism. We've talked about socialism forever. Okay. We mistakenly think that socialism is an economic system. Socialism is not an economic system. It's a government system. The government runs socialism. What do we know about government? It's a non-competitive system. Because it's a non-competitive system, it has to waste. There's no way to get rid of waste. Waste accumulates. So socialist systems always become poor. Now, we have people who support socialism, and they always say, we'll do it smarter next time. But the reality is you can't. It's a non-competitive system.
All right, I'm out of time. Thank you for your time. Let me share to our viewers and listeners, check out the book called Freedom Revealed, A Simple, Elegant System. There's a cover of the book on the screen. Don does have a website, freedomrevealed.net, and there's a picture of the website there. And the book, again, is called Freedom Revealed. Check it out. Thank you, Don, for your time.
Thank you very much, Perry.